I'm Justin Hayek, investment advisor with PI Financial. Join me on a ride with today's top CEOs. Hear the stories of their greatest achievements and failures. Get the inside on their secrets to investing and the latest on their next big deal. This is Car Ride Confessions of a CEO. Joining me on today's ride is Shafin Tejani, CEO of Victory Square Technologies, a technology accelerator with over 20 innovative portfolio companies in the healthcare, payments processing, blockchain, and AI space. Shafin has won a number of awards, including Ernst & Young Technology Entrepreneur of the Year, Canadian Angel Investor of the Year, and BC Technology Person of the Year. In addition, Shafin is also a very active philanthropist. Victory Square, maybe if you could start off by giving the elevator pitch, if you will.
Yeah, so Victory Square is a tech company, and our focus is building software solutions for the future of sports betting, insurance, payments, and databases.
Tell me a little bit about the history of Victory Square. How did you get involved, and how did it all kind of come to be?
So, my background is, I started in the tech space in the mid-90s. I was one of those kids kind of tinkering with computers, even when my parents would say to me, stop messing with computers, it's going to get you nowhere in life. Mm-hmm. My parents were really, driven on me being a doctor or a lawyer. But I started in the mid-90s in the online dating space. So being able to see how technology was gonna impact that space. At the time, dating sites, or there weren't dating sites, there were classified sections at the back of newspapers where people would connect, or 1-900 toll-free dating numbers. So at that time, saw how the internet was gonna disrupt that industry, got involved in that. It was a borderless subject matter in that dating was all over the world. Mm-hmm. And we became very good at driving customers. So everything we did, post that business was all based on the customers we had in our dating site. What did they do when they left our site? And so we would go and buy, build, or invest in those types of businesses, knowing that not only could we provide funding and technology, but more importantly, we could bring customers and make those businesses successful. Okay. And so tying into Victory Square today, our model has always been around either buying, building, or investing in companies that complement our existing portfolio, mm-hmm. or going and finding a business or a team that we already have kind of customers for. Okay. So the publicly traded company Victory Square Technologies started in 2016, and so we're now going into our fourth year. But all of the products that we have all been built off of solving a pain point for an actual customer.
How do you intend on adding and unlocking value in VSTs or Victory Square's portfolio of companies, and how does a shareholder mm-hmm. of Victory Square potentially benefit from that?
So, a couple things. One, our process of identifying a pain point, getting a customer, going and building a team to build a solution to solve that pain point, and then building, validating, kind of scaling and monetizing. That process generally takes anywhere from 12 to, I would say, 48 months, mm-hmm. To do successfully. And so right now within our business cycle, we're just crossing that 36-month mark going into year 4. So there are a number of companies, a number of products in our portfolio that, the customer market fit is there, mm-hmm. and they're scaling and ready to mature. So the first thing is spinning those assets off to unlock value for VST and VST shareholders alike. So that's one significant thing. Those products have increased in value probably on average of 5 or 6x from our cost to build and incubate.
Oh wow!
And we've validated that by bringing and diversifying their individual investor bases by getting other investors to follow on at those higher rounds or higher valuations. Okay. So spinning those assets off, unlocking value for VST and VST shareholders is that's one avenue. The second is just revenue growth. For us, there's that saying, sales will save all your sins. We've really been focused on seeing significant revenue growth year over year. So I think, 2017 to 2018, I think we experienced about 300% revenue growth. And I think we're expecting that same growth, if not higher, for 2019. Companies in our vertical generally trade at I think a 7-time forward-looking revenue multiple. And so that would, reflect a market cap and share price, that's significantly up from what we're trading at today. So we think that will be a way to unlock value for shareholders as those revenue numbers come out.
Catalysts to come over the next 6 to 12 months.
So one of the biggest catalysts as that is occurring is we're seeing significant revenue growth. In 2016, we did, I think just under 400,000 in revenues as we started the process. In 2017, we did about 800,000. Sorry, 2017 we did about 800,000. In 2018, I think we're around 2.8. So that's 3 years of consistent and significant growth, and our Q1 numbers are pointing to us, exceeding that level of growth. So revenue growth is continued revenue growth, and continued significant revenue growth is probably one of the biggest catalysts that shareholders will see. The second is monetization. So in addition to really increasing our revenues year over year, monetization. So our ability to validate that we can identify companies early, get into them at a low cost base, build them, and then in scale and monetize them is really that next step for Victory Square. And three of those selected 10 companies are going to be spun off and listed on their own. So I think over the next 6 to 12 months, you'll see some really interesting kind of companies and products coming into our portfolio. They're coming in from some really large global markets. We're now again seeing a massive shift coming, where there's a number of emerging technologies all kind of coinciding at once. Every time we've seen an innovation, it's happened in quicker and quicker sprints. And so for us as a company, having seen this trend before and seeing it come again, our focus has been, working with companies and building products to help companies, kind of transition into this new wave, so that they don't fall by the wayside, like old global brands like Kodak and Blockbuster. And at the same time, we're also trying to breed those new startups and new products that are going to dictate the next 5, 10, 20 years of innovation. As a company, we've planted our flag in this emerging trend. We've built products that are leaders in first market movers in what's to come. But for investors, we believe that Victory Square is an amazing, attractive investment for investors to alongside ourselves. And with Victory Square, we've never done outside financing. It's self-funded by myself, my business partners, and our management team, who believe in what we're doing. So investors get a chance to invest alongside us and kind of catch this wave. And I haven't sold a single share. I've, in essence, only accumulated my position. It's that leading by practice, by behavior, and the fact that I too believe and am committed to kind of what we're building and doing here, not just with my words but with my pocketbook.
So Victory Square is invested in a number of sectors ranging from blockchain, fintech, AI, healthcare, etc. So to you, what sector is the most exciting and why?
So it kind of ties into something I mentioned earlier. I mean, we're excited about all of these different sectors because we see, all of these emerging technologies kind of intersecting at once around these different sectors. For us, when you look at specific technology, if I had to pick one, I would probably say artificial intelligence and machine learning.
So VST's portfolio of companies are predominantly startups or like early stage kind of incubation?
Yeah, so our portfolio of products and companies are at different stages.
Right.
They generally, again, starts at kind of an infancy seed stage. And then I was mentioning, like, over the first 12 to 36 months, we're building out their product, building out their team, validating their product for a specific customer, like a paying customer. But the companies will be at different levels. So in our portfolio currently, there's just over 20 companies. About 10 we refer to as selected. So those are the 10 that we're focused on. Those are the 10 that are maturing and scaling and maturing, and we're really focused on monetizing those companies. And then we have a bunch of others that are still in the validation phase that are growing, still trying to get their customer market fit.
Okay. So let's focus on startups for a second then.
Yeah.
What do you think is the greatest challenge that most startups face?
We hear funding, attracting talent, getting customers. Those are three generally the biggest challenges we hear. A lot of startups, I think, really focus or struggle with funding, but a real product for a real pain point, and you have a solid game plan, I think everything will take care of itself. I think a lot of founders kind of rush into something, and they try to build something where a lot of times we see that there's not really a need for.
Right. Yeah.
I think you saw that in the whole blockchain hype last year, where people were coming up with all these different applications that were really not relevant,
right,
or even applicable. And so for sure they're going to struggle with getting revenue or following fundraising, for a product that really doesn't have a need. So.
Would it be safe to say that Victory Square or yourself is competing kind of with the venture capitalists of the world? And if so, what is your and/or the company's competitive edge then?
Yeah, so I don't really think we're competing with anyone. We kind of have this philosophy, because everything we're doing is either solving a pain point within our existing business, or building a product for an existing customer. We almost have this motto of like, just do you. We don't feel like we really compete with a lot of different people. We're kind of really just focused on our game plan, and fortunately for us, we've been very successful at that.
So when you're going through, I take it you look at a number of companies. You probably have kind of your own set of criteria set out. What is the most important criteria when you're making an investment in a startup?
For us at Victory Square, it's team.
What are some of the challenges that you kind of have gone through, overcome, and what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, so I think in the tech space, failure is almost celebrated, but when I say failure, we mainly refer to it as iterating or pivoting. So when you're trying to really get that customer market fit down, your product sometimes goes through multiple iterations. Other people would sometimes refer that as a failure, but it's a failure to adjust and tweak. And so in a lot of our projects, we've had to fall, make mistakes, to be able to iterate and really kind of get that fit down pat. Fortunately for us, one of the biggest benefits of really trying to focus on talent or entrepreneur, that when the project, let's say for example, doesn't work, we're able to take that team and or that entrepreneur and have them complement something else we're working on.
Shafin, I appreciate it. Awesome.
Thanks, brother.
I really appreciate it. I had an excellent time with you and great conversation.
Yeah, you as well, man.